to welcome to the League 1 and 2 review of their week's action. So this weekend the Football League kicked off, and we're going to look at League 2 and League 1 today. The Championship review will probably usually be out on a Sunday, but it'll probably be out Monday night due to the game Hull and Villa. So yeah, as you can see, I've got the Championship, League 2, scores floating across. So that's what we're going to start with. If you are new, I hope you enjoy the video and subscribe if you enjoy it. It really helps the channel out. So Bury and Yeovil was the first game of the day, and Bury won this 1-0 on Matteo getting the only goal. And Yeovil here only have one person to blame, and that is themselves. And you know, you can't win games usually with 9 men. It's hard. So Tom James got sent off, 2 bookable offences. He went in the 55th minute, and then a horror tackle by Green on Neil Dan's. There was a big pushing argy-bargy after that. Green went after 67 minutes. Not long after, Bury made a couple of substitutions with Omateo and Dom Telford coming on. And it was that man, Omateo, who got the goal in the 89th minute to secure all 3 points for Bury. In the next game, Cheltenham Crawley, Ollie Palmer got his head on a corner kick and scored at the Wadden Road to give Crawley all 3 points. This is a really, really good win. I expect Cheltenham to struggle again. I expect Crawley to struggle again. But really good 3 points for the for Crewe's team. So the first hammering of the season was dealt by Crewe, giving Morecambe a 6-0 hammering. I expected Morecambe to struggle. I tipped them to finish bottom of the league, and things aren't going very well straight away. So Kirk and Nichols scored the first 2 goals after just 10 minutes. It went in at 2-0 at the break, where Nichols made it 3-0 after 63 minutes. Jones got a couple of goals as well, and Porter also scored. So a great 6-0 win. Dave Artell's men are top of the league with this great win, and it could be a sign of things to come at Crewe. We'll have to wait and see, but it's really, really good to get off to a winning start, and that is exactly what they have done. It's concerning for Morecambe. Exeter City 3, Carlisle 1. So Exeter played some really nice stuff, and all of their goals were really nice football. Maybe that's a sign for come under Matt Taylor, the new manager, after Paul Tisdale left for fellow League 2 side Milton Keynes Dons. Nicky Law grabbed the first goal of the game after 16 minutes. The advantage was doubled 10 minutes later through Jonathan Fort, who could have a big say in Exeter's season. 10 minutes later again, Bennett scored a header for Carlisle to make it 2-1, and Tristan Abrahams, who is on loan from Norwich, scored in the 93rd minute to wrap the game up for Exeter City. A good 3-1 win here. So in League 2, Grimsby faced Forest Green, and this was the battle of, I think it was a playoff final a couple of years ago. Yeah, it was 3 seasons ago now. In the league, in the National League, and now it's a League 2 fixture. So it was a good start by Grimsby at Blundell Park. After an alleged handball by a Forest Green player, Mitch Rose took the penalty and scored, giving them the lead. It remained 1-0 until half-time, where 6 minutes after the break, Winchester scored from close range to make it 1-1. And then things only went one way. The rejuvenated Forest Green side made it 2-1 with one of the worst own goals you'll see. So Danny Collins, the defender for Grimsby, passed it back into the goal where you'd expect the goalkeeper to be. The goalkeeper was nowhere near it. I don't know whether the goalkeeper maybe just took a free kick or something, but it was terrible. It was absolutely awful, and you could see in the crowd they were going nuts. They were very, very annoyed, and it was just awful. awful. It's basic defending. There was a lot of suspect defending about over the EFL, but this was just awful. Just awful. 70 minutes, 3 minutes after that, Deutsch scored a goal. So Deutsch is tipped to go higher. I don't think there's been any bids, so he was in the side today. And then 7 minutes before the end, Deutsch scored again. Once again, terrible defending by Grimsby. So there was a back pass, and it was given straight to Deutsch. It couldn't have been more perfect, and he went and scored. It's concerning first league game for Grimsby. They looked all over the place at the back. They didn't do that well under Jolly before the end of the season, and it's not gone well since. But somewhere it did go well is in our next game, Mansfield Newport. So Tyler Walker, who was on loan from Nottingham Forest, gave the Stags the lead, and in the second half, great goals from Otis Khan sealed the win. Newport looked a bit shaky. They looked pretty bad, to be fair, so maybe they might struggle. I'm not sure if there's people to come back, but they did look very, very poor in their first game. I've tipped Mansfield to do quite well. Put them in the playoffs. They're in my playoffs and my predictions, and I'm not surprised to see them do so well. I expect Newport to be mid-table, but this is a really, really poor result. They didn't really threaten Mansfield, and it was a comfortable win. Northampton faced Lincoln, and I expect both of these sides to be up there at the end of the year. And Lincoln, who had a great summer signing Bruno Andrade, signing John Akinde, got the win, but it wasn't one of those. It was a striker already there in Matt Green, who got the only goal of the game with a header. Really, really important 3 points for Lincoln. I think Northampton will be up there at the end of the season, and I expect Lincoln to be up there as well. So I'm very, very impressed with that win. They bought really well, and Danny Cowley is a great manager, so it'll be interesting to see how well they get on. In another game where I expect these two teams to be challenging for around the playoffs is Notts County and Colchester United. So this one ended 0-0. It was the only 0-0 in the League Two, and it was all thanks to the goalkeeper of Colchester, Barnes. He made some good saves to keep Notts County out. Notts County looked quite good in this game, and maybe they will be challenging again. Oldham played MK Dons, and MK Dons got the victory. Agard scored a penalty after there was a foul in the box, the usual, and Kieran Agard scored. Kieran Agard was a part of the next goal where he crossed in, and Ryan Harley was at the back post to put the ball in. 2-0. A good finish from Gardner. Dan Gardner made it 2-1, but they held on, so that was all in the first half. There was nothing really in the second half, but really, really good 3 points under Paul Tisdale. His first 3 points as MK Dons manager in his first game. Really, really good win for MK Dons. Port Vale played Cambridge, and it was a really concerning performance for Joe Dunn's Cambridge. So Ricky Miller, who I said would have quite a good season, he opened the scoring with a beautiful career free kick on the stroke of half time. 2 minutes later, Miller was at it again when he was brought down for a penalty. That was dispatched by Tom Pope, and Tom Pope was free at the back post to put the ball in for the third goal after 70 minutes. So really, really poor defending by Cambridge for that goal. They conceded a penalty as well, so maybe that'll be a concern in the future. The fact is, you can't go round conceding loads of penalties and leaving people free at the back post. Concerning start for Cambridge. Stevenage played Tranmere in probably one of the games of the day, 2 apiece. Ball put them through at 1-up after 20 minutes. That goal was once again bad defending. They couldn't get it away. Fell to Ball, and Ball put the ball into the back of the net. 7 minutes later, they were 2-up. Byram with a great goal from outside of the area to make it 2-0. After 33 minutes, Norwood got one back. He stormed through and put the ball past the goalkeeper, and it went in 2-0 at the break. Norwood made it 2-2. The ball, we scrambled it over the line in the end. A great assist by, I think it was Sutton, the defender, headed it on, and it caused all sorts of mayhem, but he got it in, Norwood, for his second goal of the game. Johnny Hunt was sent off late after 75 minutes. He brought down Ben Tollett. The ref had no choice. He was already booked, and he had to go. But Stevenage, held on and got the draw. I think this is a good draw for both teams. I think Tranmere will be up there, so I don't think this is too bad for Stevenage considering. And then a great end to the game in our final League 2 game, and it all happened in the second half. Kobe Arthur, who came from Birmingham originally, I'm not sure if he came direct from Birmingham, but he gave Macclesfield the lead, their first goal under Mark Yates. So how did this pan out? So Arthur scored a good goal from inside the box to give them the lead. Doughty got a header in 2 minutes later to make it 1-1, and then once again some terrible defending and goalkeeping. Vigouroux, he passed the ball straight to Kobe Arthur, and Arthur lobbed the keeper into the empty net to make it 2-1 to Macclesfield. And it seems like they were going to get all 3 points, but they ended up playing over 10 minutes of injury time. And in those 10 minutes, Doughty scored 2 penalties in the 96th and the 98th minute. Both looked stonewall penalties to me, and they got the win. Great win for Swindon. It will do them the world of confidence to come back and get the 3 points after being 2-1 down with so little of the game remaining. So really, really, really good results for some clubs. Let's have a quick look at the table and see where everyone is. So Crewe are top after that 6-0 win, followed by Forest Green and Mansfield, who both won by 3 goals. In the playoffs, Port Vale, Exeter, Swindon and Milton Keynes, and then at the bottom, rock bottom, we have Morecambe, followed by Newport, and then just outside of the relegation zone we have Cambridge, Grimsby and Carlisle. So that was the first game. There are no midweek games, I don't think, and then straight away next week we get into it again. Saturday the 11th of August is the second round of fixtures, where all of the home teams play the away teams. So everyone will have had a game at home by the end of next week. So that's something to look forward to. And let's get on to the League 1 results now. So on to League 1 we go. And some really, really, really good results here for some teams, and some, disappointing results for others. So this is the first League 1 game as well. And the first game, an early kickoff. I didn't watch it because I was at Hereford. I watched them play Blythe Spartans, but I saw a little bit of it right at the end, and I actually left just before the Gooch goal. Okay, let's get into it. So I need to get my notes up. So Sunderland had a terrible season last year, didn't they? And they need to put it right this year. So after 10 minutes, Maguire brought down Grant for Charlton. Lyle Taylor took the penalty and scored his first Charlton goal to give them the lead after just 10 minutes. It was a good penalty and way past the goalkeeper, and that gave Charlton a 1-0 lead in the first half. In the second half, they made a change. They brought on Jerome Sinclair, took off Luke O'Neill, and they started to have much more of the ball and looked a lot better. Meyer, to be fair, he did really well, and he got a shot away and scored. I think the keeper should have done a lot better. But he didn't, and it went to 1-1, sorry. And the winning goal right at the end, 96th minute, the last kick of the game, a great cross from Brian Oviedo, crossed it in, and there was Lyndon Gooch to head the ball home to give Sunderland all 3 points. Great scenes, and it's great to see a bit more belief around the club after 2 horrendous seasons at Sunderland. It's really, really good to see. So they got the first win of the League One campaign, and now we go to Accrington, who had a bit of a horrible time of it, and lost 2-0 to Gillingham. So Hanlon scored a really good goal, a nice move by Gillingham, and another good build-up from Gillingham, and Parker scored. So it was 2-0 after half-time, and they couldn't do anything, and they got the win. Gillingham looked really good from what I saw, some really good play, some really good build-up, and maybe that's a sign of things to come under their new manager. It could go well. Obviously, their new manager hasn't managed before, so I expect, maybe it was just one of those flash in the pan results, but really, really good 3 points for Gillingham nonetheless. Now we go to table-topping Barnsley. Thiam scores twice in 10 minutes, 20 and a 29th minute, to give Barnsley a 2-0 lead. The reason why I am putting them together is because they are basically the same goal. If you watch them, they look really, really similar, and they give a 2-0 lead. After half-time, Brad Potts, who was absolutely exceptional, he was involved in pretty much every goal, made it 3-0 with a nice shot inside the area into the top of the net. 4-0, Adi Bayeo scores after Oxford failed to clear another clearance from a cross, which was by Potts. Potts was really good throughout the game and helped Barnsley get all 3 points. Really, really, really good win for Barnsley against Oxford. If you're an Oxford fan, tell me your thoughts down below. Burton had a defeat in their first game back in the League One. So Brad Inman, who was recently signed, had a great first half. After 10 minutes, he scored from just inside the area and made it 2-0. 12 minutes later, when a breakaway, he was there to finish it off. 2-0 it was in the first half. Liam Boyce made it 2-1 after 71 minutes. He scored a follow-up after a save from Marvin Sordell, and the ball came back and he put it back in. The goalkeeper Lillis maybe should have done better, but they held on for all 3 points. Really good 3 points for Rochdale. After surviving on the last day, they get their first 3 points of the game against a former championship side. Really good 3 points for Rochdale. Brad Inman had a very, very good game indeed, and maybe that is a sign of things to come. Coventry's first game back in League One ended in defeat as well, coming from the other side. Coventry took the lead through Andreu with a great free kick. It must have been around 30 odd yards out. Absolutely exceptional. But Scunthorpe scored on a counter-attack through Humphreys, and then Dales scored with 9 minutes from time into the bottom corner. And yeah, that's a really good 3 points. They did really well, Scunthorpe. They finished, I think they finished 5th. So they did a really, really, really good season last year and have carried on that form. After missing out to Rotherham, who won in the semi-finals, they obviously went on and won and got promoted. So Joey Barton's first game as a professional manager ends in defeat. Joe Pigott scoring after Fleetwood failed to clear their lines. It doesn't sound like they were overly impressive. After they scored Wimbledon, he made all 3 changes pretty quickly, bringing on Paddy Madden, Dean Marnie and Hunter, but to no avail. That's not good enough, and maybe there could be trouble brewing there if things don't go right pretty quickly. A great win for Peterborough under Steve Evans. 2 goal scorers who had signed in the summer. Both great headers as well. Matt Godden got the first goal, and a Colin Daniel cross for the second was headed in by O'Hara. So 25 minutes in, Peterborough had a 2-0 lead. They held on until nearly the end of the game, where Bristol Rovers had a good end to the game, and Lockyer scored a header from a corner to make it 2-1. But they didn't really threaten. It's a really good 3 points for Peterborough against Bristol Rovers to get them off and running. So Portsmouth played Luton, and this one ended 1-0. Wasn't a lot between the sides, which is a good sign really for Luton, who have recently come up. So Jamal Lowe got the only goal of the game with great play by Curtis, and he pulled the ball back, and there was Jamal Lowe to score. Another 1-0 was at Shrewsbury. So Shrewsbury have installed safe standing for the first time in any professional league in England, and they showed that off with their first game today. But it didn't go the way they wanted. So Jack Payne scored from inside the area to give Bradford all 3 points. I think he's assisted or scored in the last 4 games of the season starting, which is a really interesting fact. Michael Collins' first game. I put my predictions out, and I put Bradford to do quite well. And I think they'll do all right. I really do. So probably game of the day was at Roots Hall between Southend and Doncaster. So after a 0-0 first half, Marquis, with a very, very neat finish, made it 1-0 after 58 minutes. And this started a 19-minute campaign where Doncaster scored 3 times. So 7 minutes later, Wilkes scored a great goal. And then 3-0, Tommy Rowe scored a really weird goal. He shoots, and it doesn't look like there's anything on it, but it seems to evade everyone, and it makes it 3-0. And they're in total control. However, they don't give up, and the keeper, after parrying a shot out, Tom Hopper was there to score. And then after 86 minutes, Theo Robinson, the former Doncaster player, scores from a cross, who's sporting a blonde beard and blonde hair, which is very, very strange. Obviously, he played for Hereford many moons ago, and that was really strange to see. I don't think he's done that before, but I could be wrong. Great story at Walsall and Plymouth, where Edwards scored from a free kick, giving Plymouth the lead. He's just been cleared as cancer-free, which is absolutely fantastic. Later in the game, Riley brings down new Walsall signing Morgan Ferrier, and he won the penalty. Andy Cook missed the penalty, but followed up with a rebound to make it 1 apiece. That was on the stroke of half time. In the second half, Leahy scored a great free kick to make it 2-1, and they saw the game out. So a great win for Walsall under Dean Keats. And finally, Wycombe versus Blackpool, 0-0, and there wasn't many chances in the game, to be fair. And it is what it is. Great point, I guess, for Wycombe. They'll need every point they can get. Their aim is to survive, and that is what they will hopefully achieve. They did go down to 10 men after 89 minutes, with Harriman having a foul on Delfonso. I didn't really see what happened, to be fair, on the footage, but it finished 0-0. So let's have a quick look at the table. Obviously, it doesn't really matter after the first game, but it's always nice to see. So Barnsley top with 4 plus 4 after that great win at Oxford. Gillingham are second, and then the playoffs are as follows: Doncaster, Peterborough, Rochdale, Scunthorpe, Luton are in the bottom 4, along with Shrewsbury, Accrington, and of course Oxford United. So these don't really matter at this point, but I thought I'd just read them out anyway. So that's it done. That's the EFL League 1 and League 2 roundup. The Championship roundup will be coming very, very soon. I hope this will be a weekly show where we round it up every week after the weekend's football, and I hope everyone really enjoyed. If you are new, hit subscribe. I do all sorts of content. There'll be something for everyone. So yeah, thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. The people make it to the end of the video, and it's really, really good. Thanks so much for watching anyway. My name is Mike, and I will see you very, very soon.